Test, test, 1, 2. Oh, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Otis-Bison Cougar broadcast. I am Chase Mitchell, and with my tech sponsor, Hank Heifel. Today we find ourselves in beautiful Healy, Kansas, at a volleyball tournament. With about a minute remaining, the tournament will begin underway. Both teams get ready and line up to their positions and are getting ready for the ball. First up will be the coin flip and determining who will be serving the ball. Looks like the Cougars will be starting off with the ball. Number 3, Destiny Mitchell will be serving. Destiny hits the ball over to number 14. Back over to the Cougars side and out on the Cougars. Ball is the Deerfield Spartans. Number 1, Alyssa Smith will be serving the ball for the Deerfield. Ball's up, over to the Cougars. Kaylee saves it, and the ball goes over to number 17, Paula Diaz, but the ball is out on the Cougars. Point Deerfield. Number 1, Alyssa Smith will be serving once again. Ball is up and over to Kaylee, back over to Destiny Mitchell now. Over to Elena, gonna put it over. Back over to number 14, Zoe Grigo. Now over to number 5, Ingrid. Back over to Cougars. Out on the Cougars, point Deerfield. Number 1, Alyssa Smith, serving once again. The ball is up, over to Destiny Mitchell. Now over to number 17, Paula Diaz. Now over to Healy, going in to try to spike it, but it is blocked by number 4. Back over to the Cougars, over to Destiny, now over to Paula. Back over to the Deerfield side. Point Cougars. Ball was intended for number 4, Amanda. Shayla Hill, but she is unable to receive the ball. Number 17, Paula Diaz, is going to serve the ball over to Deerfield. Number 14 puts it over, but Elena serves it back over to Deerfield side. Point Cougars. Paula Diaz is going to serve once more for the Cougars. Ball is up and over to number 14, Zoe Grigo. Now over to number 5, Ingrid. Back over to the Cougars, over to number 12, Kaylee Ficken. Then back to Elena. And now point Cougars. Paula Diaz serving once more for the Cougars. Ball is up, over to number 20, Abby, and that out point goes to the Cougars once again. Paula Diaz serves the ball over. Number 14 saves it and puts it back over to the Cougars side. Number 22. Puts it over, but it is no good. Point Deerfield. Number 4, Shayla Hill, will be serving the ball over to number 3, Destiny Mitchell. Back over to Paula. Over to Atlanta, put it over. Deerfield puts the ball back over. Number 15. Zoe Miller puts it over for a Deerfield point. Shayla Hill is going to be serving once again. She's going to serve it. Ball goes to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Paula. Now over to Haley Morrison. She's going to hand it over to number 15 for the Deerfield. Back to Destiny Mitchell. Back over to Haley, but Haley serves the ball into the net, and it is no good. Deerfield point. Shayla is going to serve it once more, going over, out of bounds. Point Cougars. Number 22's Hope Lumpkin will be serving for the Cougars. The ball is up. It is good. Over to number 4, Shayla. Over to number 1, Alyssa. Ball point Cougars as Alyssa hits it out of bounds. Hope, once again, will be serving. Ball is up and over to the up, but it hits the net on its way over, and it is a point for Deerfield. Number 5 serving now. Ingrid gonna serve it over to Dustin Mitchell, over to Paula, now over to Macy, but she spikes it, unfortunately it hits the net. Point Deerfield. Number 5, Ingrid gonna be serving it once more. Ball is up and it's out of bounds. Point Cougars. Number 1, Haley Morrison is just serving the ball. Ball is out of bounds. Point Deerfield. Number 20, Abby is going to be serving the ball. Ball is out of bounds against Deerfield. Point Cougars. Number 12, Kaylee Ficken will be serving the ball. Ball is up. It is over. Over to number 4, Shayla. Macy blocks the ball and then spikes it down. Point Cougars. Kaylee Ficken will be serving the ball once more. The ball is up and it hits the net on its way over. Point Deerfield. Number 15, Zoe Miller serving the ball over to Kaylee Ficken, but then it goes out of bounds against the Cougars. Point Deerfield. Number 15, Zoe Miller will be serving once more. The ball is up and it is over to Haley Morrison. Over to Paula now. Now over to Dusty Mitchell, gonna put it over the net. Over to number 22, or 20, not 22. Abby, and then it is out against Deerfield. Point Cougars. Number 22, Hope Lumpkin goes out for Haley, for Elena. Macy serves the ball over to number 5, that is Ingrid. Point Cougars as the ball hits the ceiling. Number 13, Macy Wilsey will be serving the ball once more. It's going over. Over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Back over to the Cougar side. Dustin Mitchell trying to put the ball over, but is no good. Ball point Deerfield. Number 3 for Deerfield will be serving. Ball goes over to Haley, now over to Paula, back over to Destiny, gonna put it over. Over to the number 15 now, Zoe Miller. Back over to the Cougars, over to Hope, now to Paula, back over to the Deerfield side, point Cougars. Number 3, Destiny Mitchell will be serving the ball. Ball is up, over to number 4, Shayla, whatever, I can't, their name. Over to Paula, over to Haley now, back over, and the ball is out of bounds. Deerfield point. Number 1, Alyssa comes in for number 11, Amanda. Number 1, Alyssa Smith will be serving the ball for Deerfield. The ball is up, going over, and number 3, Destiny Mitchell gets it over to Haley now. Now over to Elena, putting it over. Over to number 14, Zoe. Back over to Deerfield side, number 20, Abby saves it. Back over to the Cougar side. Looks like one of the Cougars was caught touching the net. Point Deerfield. Number 1, Alyssa Smith will be serving the ball once more. Ball is up, goes over the net. Number 12, Healy saving it, but it's no good, and point for Deerfield. Alyssa Smith serving the ball once more for Deerfield. Ball is up, over to Healy now. It is no good, because it looks like there was an uplift on the ball. Point Deerfield. Alyssa serving the ball once more. It's going to go over the net, over to Destiny Mitchell. Now over to Paula. Over to Elena, going to put it over. And it is good for a Cougars point. Number 17, Paula Diaz, will be serving for the Cougars. Ball is up, and it is going over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Now it's over to 20. Addie gonna put it over and back over to the Cougars. Number 14, Chloe Shank, gets it and puts it back over to the Deerfield side. 20 is gonna do the same thing, and it is no good. Out on Deerfield. Point Cougars. Number 17, Paula Diaz, will be serving once more. Ball is up, over to Deerfield side. Number 15, Zoe Miller saves it. Now over to number 1, Alyssa, trying to put the ball over, but it's no good. It hits the net. Paula serving the ball once more. Ball is up, and it is over the net. Over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Over to Abby now. Back over to number 5. Back over to Elena. Elena back to Paula. Back to Elena once more. Ball is out of bounds on the Cougars. Point Deerfield. Number 4, Shayla Hill will be serving the ball. Ball is up, over the net, over to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Paula now. Over to Healy, gonna put the ball over. Number 1, Alyssa, saves it from going out of bounds. Back to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Paula. Over to Chloe Shank, putting the ball over. Alyssa saving it once more. Over to number 5. Gonna put it over the net. Over to Destiny Mitchell. Back to Paula. Over to Healy now. Ball is out of bounds against the Cougars. Point Deerfield. Number 4, Shaylee Hill, will be serving the ball once more. Ball is up, and it is over. Destiny Mitchell's getting it. Over to Paula now. Elena going to put the ball over, and it is good for a Cougars point. Cougars 16, Deerfield 18. Number 22, Hope Lumpkin, will be serving the ball for the Cougars. Ball is up. Goes over to number 4, Shaylee. Over to number 1, Alyssa. Back over to 20, Abby, and she hits it a little too hard, and it goes out of bounds. Point Cougars. Hope going to serve the ball over the net again. Going over to number 15. Back over to Alyssa. Now over to number 5. Ingrid. Back over to Hope. Going to puts the ball back over the net. Ball goes over to Destiny Mitchell, but she just barely misses it. Point Deerfield. Number 15, never mind, number 5, Ingrid, will be serving the ball for Deerfield. Ball is up, and it goes over, but it doesn't quite make it. It hits the net, and point Cougars. Zoe Schwint will be serving the ball now. Over the net, over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Back over to number 3 now. Gonna put it, number 3. Just gonna put it over. Macy gets the ball for the Cougars. Spikes the ball down, and it goes out, almost goes out of bounds, but it hits one of the Deerfield Spartans. Point Cougars. Zoe Schwint gonna be serving the ball once more. The ball is up. It goes over the net, over to number 4. Shaley back over to Destiny Mitchell, over to Macy, back to Destiny, and she puts it over the net. And it is a point for the Cougars. Looks like there's an uplift against Deerfield. Zoe serves the ball back over to Abby. Ball goes out of bounds against Deerfield. Point Cougars. Zoe Schwint will be serving once more for the Cougars. The Deerfield coach has called for a timeout. Back in a few. Cougars return to the court and get ready to play. As well do the Deerfield Spartans. Zoe Schwint will be serving the ball for the Cougars. Ball is up. It is going over the net, over to number 14, who's Zoe Grigo. Point Cougars as it Zoe Schwint serving the ball once again, going over the net, over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Over to 20, Abby. Back over to number 2, Zoe Schwint. Over to Paula. Over to Destiny Mitchell. And the ball point goes to Deerfield as the Cougars has reached the limit of how many times they can hit the ball. Number 20, Abby will be serving the ball. Ball is up. It goes over to Hope Lumpkin. Hits the ceiling. Destiny tries getting the ball over, but it's no good. Point Deerfield. Number 20, Abby will be serving the ball once again. Going over to Hope Lumpkin. Zoe Schwint gets it. Now over to Chloe Shank. Now over to number 4, Daly. Now over to number 11, Amanda. Back over to Chloe Shank, gonna put the ball back over the net. Ball goes out of bounds against the Deerfield Spartans. Point Cougars. Chloe Shank will be serving the ball now. The ball is up. It goes over the net, over to number 11, Amanda. Back over to Abby, number 20. Over to number 3. Now over to Zoe. Back to Destiny Mitchell, putting the ball over the net, which is over to number 14 now for Deerfield. Back to Hope Lumpkin. Now over to Paula. Over to Macy. Ball goes out of bounds against the Cougars. Point Deerfield. Number 15, Zoe Miller will be serving for the Deerfield Spartans. Ball is up, hits the net. It is no good for the Spartans. Point Cougars. Number 13, Macy Wilsey will be serving the ball for the Cougars. The ball is up. It is over. Number 4, Shaley gets it. Over to number 20, Abby. Now over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Ball hits the net and point Cougars. That is the end of the set, with your score being Cougars 25, Deerfield 20. Or Deerfield 22, not 20. Welcome back to the second set of the game. Number 1, Alyssa Smith, will be serving for the Deerfield Spartans. Ball is up, and it goes over the net, over to Healy. Over to Paula. Elena gets it, but looks like there was an uplift against the Cougars. Point Deerfield. Alyssa serving the ball once more, going over to Chloe Shank. Over to Paula now, and accidentally, when Paula gets the ball up, it hits Elena in the face. Point Deerfield. Alyssa puts the ball up over the net, over to Healy. Now over to Elena. Back over to Chloe Shank, putting the ball over putting the ball over. Over to Abby now, number 20. Number 15, Zoe Miller gets it. Back over to Chloe Shank. Over to Paula. Over to Destiny Mitchell, putting the ball back over the net. Over to number 14. Back over to number 20, Abby, putting the ball out. Putting the ball out of bounds, but it is good for a Cougar point. Destiny Mitchell, number 3, will be serving for the Cougars. Ball is over. Over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Over to Alyssa. Back over to number 15, Zoe Miller. But it is no, and Cougars get a point because Deerfield has reached their limit. Number 3, actually, Destiny Mitchell will be serving the ball for the Cougars once again. Ball is up. It is over to number 16, Vanessa Miranda. Point Cougars, as no one else received the ball on the Deerfield side. Destiny serves the ball over to Vanessa once again. Over to number 1, Alyssa. Back to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Chloe Shank. Ball hits the ceiling, but the point goes to Deerfield. Number 4, Shaylee Hill, will be serving the ball once again. Ball is up. Over to Destiny Mitchell. Oh, now over to Paula. Over to Elena, putting the ball over the net. Over to number 4, Shaylee. Back over to 20, Abby. Over to number 3, Destiny Mitchell. Back over to number 14, Zoe. Over to Chloe Shank. Paula, now Elena, putting the ball over the net. Number 1, Alyssa Smith hitting that. Over to Abby now. Back to Chloe Shank. Over to Paula. Now over to Destiny Mitchell, putting the ball over the net, which is good for a Cougars point. Cougars will be serving again. Number 17, Paula. Ball is up. Goes over the net. Number 4 tries getting it, but she gets it, but it goes out of bounds against Deerfield. Point Cougars. Paula puts the ball up over the net. Over to number 4, Shaylee. No, hand throws it over to number 20, but it is no good going over the net. Paula is going to put the ball up again over to the Deerfield side. Number 14, Zoe Grigo gets it, but she does not get it over the net. Point Cougars. Paula Diaz is going to put the ball up for the Cougars once again. Over to number 4, Healy. Over to Alyssa now. Point Cougars as the Cougars block it. Timeout, Deerfield. Be back in a minute. Both teams return to the court and get ready to play.
If you participate.
Number 17, Paula Diaz will be serving the ball for the Cougars. Ball is up over to Deerfield side. Number 4, Healy gets it over to Alyssa now. Now back over to number 20, Abby. Over to Healy, over to Paula, and Paula sets it up for Chloe and it gets it over. Back over to Abby on the Deerfield side. Now over to Hope Lumpkin. Over to Chloe now, putting it back over. Back over to Healy, over to Abby now. Gonna hand it off over to Ingrid. Back over to Healy, over to Paula. Back to Healy. Point Cougars. Deerfield is caught hitting the net. Number 17, Paula Diaz will be serving the ball once more for the Cougars. Ball is up. It is over to number 4, Healy. Over to number 1, Alyssa. Over to number 5, Ingrid. Back to Destiny Mitchell. Over to number 17, Paula. Over to number 4, Elena. Point Cougars. Number 17, Paula Diaz will be serving the ball. Ball is up over to number 14, Zoe Grigo. She hits the ball back over, but it goes out of bounds against the Deerfield Spartans. Point Cougars. Number 17, Paula Diaz puts it over to number 14, Zoe Grigo. Over to number 1, Alyssa Smith. Back to over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Ball hits the very back of the Cougars end. Point Deerfield. Number 24, Zari comes. Not Zari. Sorry if I said that wrong. But number 24, Zari comes in for number 5, Ingrid. Ball is up and it goes over, but it doesn't quite go over and hits the net. Point Cougars. Hope Lumpkin puts the ball up over to Alyssa Smith. Now over to Abby. Over to Paula now. Back over to Destiny. Over to Macy, putting the ball back over to the Deerfield side. Over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Back over to Paula. Over to Destiny Mitchell. Over to Healy, but she doesn't quite get the ball over. Point Deerfield. Number 20, Abby Oviedo. That's her last name. Will be serving the ball for the Deerfield Spartans. Ball is up, goes over, but it goes a little too far and goes out of bounds. Point Cougars. Number 14, Chloe Shank will be serving the ball for the Cougars. Check that. It will be Zoe Schwint. Ball is up. Goes over to number 4, Shaylee Hill. Over to number 3. Now back over to number 20, Abby. Over to Hope Lumpkin. Over to Macy. Back. She puts it over. Now over to Chloe. Over to Macy. Putting it back over the net. And good for a Cougar point.
After this game, we'll be shutting the stream down to change them.
Zoe Schwinn will be serving the ball once again for the Cougars. Ball is up. It goes over to number 4, Shaylee Hill. Over to 20, Abby. Now over to number 1, Alyssa. Over to Paula. Over to Chloe. Over to Destiny Mitchell now. Destiny Mitchell doesn't get the ball quite over the net, and it is a point for the Deerfield Spartans. Number 15, Zoe Miller, is serving the ball. She puts it over to Lumpkin. Over to Diaz now. Now over to Chloe Shank. Chloe puts it over, and it is good for a Lady Cougars point. Chloe Shank will be serving the ball. She's going to put it over the net. Over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Over to 20, Abby. Over to Alyssa Smith. Over to Zoe Schwint. Over to Destiny Mitchell now. Now it's going to be with Macy. She's going to put the ball over to Abby. Over to number 4, Shaylee. She's going to throw over to Chloe. Now over to Destiny Mitchell. She's going to put it over to number 14, Zoe Grigo, and that is a point for the Cougars. Chloe Shank will be serving the ball. She puts it over to number 14. Now over to number 1. Back over to Zoe Miller now. Over to Chloe. Over to now Destiny. Back to number 14, Zoe Grigo. Over to Destiny Mitchell is almost about receives the ball, but doesn't quite make it, and the ball is now the Deerfield Spartans. Number 3, Brenda Heaton will be serving the ball over to Zoe Schwint. Now to Paula. Over to Macy's. She's gonna get the Cougars another point. Number 4, Elena McVeigh comes in for number 22. Macy Wilsey will be serving the ball for the Cougars. Number 24, Zari goes out for number 5. Right. Macy serves the ball, and it is a point for the Cougars. Macy will be serving the ball again. She puts it over the net. Goes a little too far and goes out of bounds. Point Deerfield. Number 1, Alyssa Smith serves the ball. She's going to put it over to Chloe Shank. Over to Paula. Now over to Destiny Mitchell, putting the ball over. Ball goes over to number 3, Brenda Houghton. She hits the ball a little wrong, and it goes out of bounds. Point Cougars. Number 3, Destiny Mitchell serves the ball over to number 3 for the opposing team. She hits it over. Ball hits the ceiling on its way, and point Cougars. Destiny serves the ball once again over to number 15, Zoe Miller. Now over to Brenda. Alyssa gets it over and back over to Destiny. Paula now over to Elena. Point Cougars as the ball hits the ground on the Deerfield side. Destiny Mitchell will be serving the ball once more. Ball is up and over. Goes a little too far though. Check that. It just hits the back line of the Deerfield side. Point Cougars. Destiny serves the ball once more, going over to number 14, Zoe Grigo, over to Paula, over to Elena now putting the ball over. Back over to Grigo. Alyssa Smith puts the ball over just barely, and it is good for a Deerfield point. Number 4, Shaylee Hill will be serving the ball. Ball is up. It goes over to both Destiny and Elena, but they both get there at the same time, and it is a point for Deerfield. Ball is up. It goes over to Chloe Shank, now over to Paula. Destiny Mitchell puts the ball up, but is no good for a Cougar point. Deerfield's point. Number 4, Shaylee will be serving still. Ball goes over to Destiny, now over to Paula. Ball over to Zoe Shrimp, but the same mistake is made and it hits the net. Point Deerfield. Ball is up. It goes over the net, over to Destiny Mitchell, over to Paula. Elena gets the ball and puts it over. Good for a Cougars point. Number 17, Paula Diaz, will be serving the ball for the Cougars. Ball is up. It goes over to number 4, Shaylee, over to Alyssa. Now back over to number 15. 15, Zoe Miller hit the ball a little too hard and goes out of bounds. Paula will be serving the ball once again for the Cougars. Ball is up. Goes over to Zoe Grigo. Now over to Alyssa. No, number 15, number 20, Abby gets it and throwing it back over to the Cougar side. Destiny Mitchell serves it over to Healy, and she puts it in the, or not Healy, but over to Zoe. Puts it over to the opposite side, and point for Cougars win. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be shutting the stream down here for about 5-10 minutes, and we'll be setting up because maybe in 30 minutes we have to switch to a different gym in order so we can stream the next game.